Used expression for the daily scrubbing of our bodies with a sponge and a soap is having a bath. But having a bath or taking a bath actually means washing yourself in a bathtub full of water.
Well, that's right. So when you wash yourself in a shower, that's not having a bath, it's having a shower.
Yep.
What about when you wash with a bucket of water and a pail?
That and every other method can simply be described as having a wash.
So when you're in a bathtub, you're
having a bath.
When you're under a shower, you're
having a shower.
And everything else is
having a wash.
Oh, quite simple when you think about it. Now, I hope you've had at least one of these three today.
Oh, today I had a wash under the shower while standing in the bathtub.
And that's how you scrub it. Now, say it right.
Okay then, so let's get straight into the papers, but not before I remind everyone, including you, Enimwa, that First Atlantic Bank has introduced a set of mobile banking applications and a USSD shortcode *442# for banking transactions. You can download the First Atlantic Bank mobile app from the Google Play Store or iOS Store, or you can dial *442# for all of your mobile money transactions, instant fund transfers. You can pay bills, you can purchase airtime or data or for Airtel, MTN, Glo or Vodafone, and so much more. So welcome to the Purple Experience on mobile. It's safe, it's secure, it's very simple to use in Imwa, so when I'm going to buy Wache, you can send me your money. First Atlantic Bank, refreshingly different.
All right, Kojo, I'm going straight into our COVID-19 update. So the number for Ghana still stands at 2,169 with 229 recoveries. Presumably, we didn't report any over the weekend, but I'm sure, we'll see how it goes this morning and this week. So that's it for Ghana. Now, Russia has also recorded their biggest daily rise of the virus cases, 10,633 new infections in the past 24 hours. The highest daily rise since the outbreak began in the country. Now, Moscow is on a strict lockdown. There are about 12 million people living in that city, so they're on lockdown. But their mortality rate remains quite low as compared to other countries. I'm sure over the weekend you've heard about Madagascar and the herbal mixture that they have, which contains Artemisia, which is something that's used in malaria treatment. So they seem to be having a good recovery rate with that. The WHO has said, though, that they do not recommend self-medication with any medicines as a prevention or cure for COVID-19. Okay. But Tanzania have gone ahead to import the coronavirus cure in quotation marks from Madagascar. The president has said that he's sending a plane to get some of this for Tanzanians, because if it seems to be working or at least boosting the immune system of those in Madagascar, then he's willing to give it a try. So that's pretty much what's happening. COVID-19. Boris has had a baby named after the nurses who looked after him. So congratulations to him, and we're happy that he recovered.
By Boris, you mean Boris Johnson?
Johnson. I'm saying it like he's the guy down the road.
I was just going to say two things. First of all, there's an interesting story on Peace FM Online talking about how President Magufuli is very concerned about the efficacy of some of the testing kits in his country, because they tested they found that a goat and a pawpaw both have COVID-19. So he's wondering how that's possible. Who went to test a pawpaw?
Exactly my question.
But have you noticed something on the Ghana Health Service website? All the recoveries in Ghana, all of them, are from the routine surveillance. All of the deaths in Ghana are from the routine surveillance. So those who were quarantined when they returned, from abroad, none of them have recovered. None of them have died. Those who we've traced through the enhanced surveillance, none of them have recovered. None of them have died. All the recoveries, all the deaths are for those who have been identified through routine surveillance, those who walked into hospitals and so forth. That's according to the Ghana Health Service website. I don't know how that's possible.
That's very interesting. But let's get to the headlines.
Exactly. Let's start with a chronicle. First Thessalonians 5 verse 22. Abstain from every form of evil. So the Chronicle says, police raid Money Dublin Shrine, 3 bodies assumed, 2 juju men grabbed, and 51 Okada riders arrested for flouting social distancing protocol. Adjoa Safo supports orphanages in Dom Kwabenya. And then Equiapim chiefs make U-turn on new Omahini.
All right, on the back page of the Ghanaian Times, 1,285 unregistered products seized by the FDA in the central region, and a large number of these are herbal products with no labeling and not approved by the FDA. So please be careful out there when you're purchasing these kinds of concoctions. On the front page of the Ghanaian Times, local production of COVID-19 treatment drugs. Exim Bank Tobinco strike $5 million deal for large-scale manufacture of hydroxychloroquine and azithromycin. COVID-19 cases in Ghana now 2,169. Getting ready for the rains, we must regularly desilt our drains. Atachia councils as Dredge Master Zoomline and others desilt drains in communities. Provide stimulus packages for businesses and households. TUC is urging the government, and that's it for the Ghanaian Times.
And the Herald for this morning says Jubilee House elements behind COVID-19 lawlessness at Equiapim. Massive corruption hits NABCO, and partisan promotions spark trouble in immigration service. And a sad one that says Kumawood actor dies after sickness and neglect over the weekend. This Kumawood actor, that's Bishop Nyako, passed on, and you've seen many people talking about him and actually using him as their DP and everything, but we're told that he died as a result of sickness and neglect.
Oh, well, may his soul rest in peace,
exactly.
And may his family be comforted. The Daily Guide talks about the government rejecting Nana's COVID-19 billboard. I'm sure you've seen that on social media as well. Well, the government has utterly disowned that billboard, which appears to promote the wearing of face masks. Anxiety in NDC over the new register. Fetish priest killed ex-soldier, and Accra desilting begins. And yesterday it rained, and every time it rains your mind goes to flooding, doesn't it?
The Daily Graphic says managing COVID-19 patients, Exim Bank funds to Binko to produce drugs, $5 million facility to be advanced, and you've talked about it in the Ghanaian Times. But also on the front page, travelers operators welcome resumption of domestic flights, and the Information Ministry Mahama Lord Media for COVID-19 role. New Okwapehine installed. The back page says waste companies appeal to government over landfills closure, and exercise to desilt drains in flood-prone areas begins in Accra. All
right, my last paper, the Ghanaian Observer, coronavirus pandemic, Akufo-Addo fights for workers, majority leader fears for election 2020, Press Freedom Day, government laws media over COVID-19 battle, war over COVID-19 gets major boost as Exim Bank and Tobinco collaborate to produce hydroxychloroquine and azithromycin. That's it for me from the Ghanaian Observer.
The New Crusading Guide says sabotage at Kotoka International Airport as Ghana Airport Company Limited MD diverse disinfection contract. Steel manufacturers increased prices despite 50% cut on electricity. And then choosing parliamentary candidates dangerous. That's according to Dr. Makoto, for he's advising the NPP's National Executive Committee. Says choosing parliamentary candidates for the party not the best. Exim Bank supports Tobinco, agrees to advance $5 million to produce corona medicine, and Tiwa Forest Mining lists as high risk post-COVID-19 venture.
All right, Winston. So on our social distancing watch for today, we find out that, well, there's 2 stories in the Ghanaian Times. The first one is 4 Ekropon chiefs have been arrested for violating the social distancing order. And what they did was allegedly try to organize the installation of a new Equiapim in a violation of the president's directive. They've been arrested. And the thing that was interesting is that they're quite old, so there's 59-year-olds, 76, 43, 55. So these are really people that people look up to in the community. So when they are violating the order, it's very important that there are measures that are put in place so that other people are deterred from doing that. So that happened in Ekropon. Also in Somanya, 14 residents were arrested for organizing puberty rights ceremony. Known as Dippo in that area. So sometimes it may seem as if our customs and our rituals are standing a little bit in the way of social distancing. But you have a story where I think
exactly.
51
So if you
people,
go to
right?
Sunyani, for instance, MTT, the Ghana Police Service in the Bono region of Sunyani, has impounded over 50 motorbikes after the riders flouted road traffic regulations, and we're told that majority of the riders also disregarded the social distancing protocol anymore. It seems to me that many people still don't, get it. They think that this is just one of those things. Over the weekend, I met somebody who said, "Yeah, you're a journalist. Tell me the truth. Is it really true that there's COVID-19 in Ghana?" I am serious, and I was shocked. She asked me that, is it really true that there's COVID-19 in Ghana? And so you can understand why people are doing some of these things. You have been told that don't do this because, the virus now is aerosolized, and so could actually, you could contract it in the air. And yet, we just don't understand it. Well, it's good that they've been arrested. It serves as a deterrent to others not to engage in similar acts.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Right. Any other stories?
Yes. So we're moving a little bit away from social distancing and COVID-19 to floods, rains, and desilting our drains. So Atachia has been speaking, and he's urging citizens to complement government's efforts in keeping the gutters free of solid waste by cleaning them. According to him, this is pretty much the solution. I was driving past, just on the road up here from the Bosokai runabout towards Ring Road, parked briefly because I could see the Odo looking pretty full and full of waste and rubbish. And obviously, as soon as you see it out at a certain level, you start to get worried because when the Odo floods, we know what happens in this area. We know what happens in Accra. So as much as we are being asked to keep our drains and our gutters clear, we're also asking the government also, attach some urgency to desilting some of these major gutters and major drains so that when it starts to rain, and it has started to rain, and we don't have any issues there.
Right, then let's do the online review real quick. It's brought to you by Zenith Bank in your best interest and Goyle Good Energy. So to all the valued customers of Goyle, they want you to know that they value your relationship that they've built with you over the years. So, look, keep yourselves free of the coronavirus disease, keep yourselves safe, and keep their stations safe as well by observing these very simple rules. 1, cover your mouth with tissue when you cough and dispose of the tissue immediately. 2, wash your hands with soap and running water, which has been provided at all service stations, especially when you handle money. 3, you can also use an alcohol-based sanitizer if you're not in a position to wash your hands. 4, maintain a minimum distance of 1.5 meters with other customers and or attendants. 5, observe these simple protocols together with Goyle to defeat the COVID-19 virus. Now, if you exhibit any symptoms, don't go to the hospital straight ahead. Just call the hotlines and ask for help on COVID-19 hotline 055 2222 004 or 055 2222 005. Now, you can bank on the go with your mobile phone. Just dial star 966 hash. Zenith Bank's USSD short code. Now with star 966 hash, you can open a bank account instantly. You can link your mobile money wallet to your bank account. You can top up airtime. You can transfer funds. You can pay bills and so much more. So do it the easy way. Dial star 966 hash today. Now this service is available to account and non-account holders. Zenith Bank in your best interest. So let's see what's on myjoyonline.com this morning. GES reviewing policy on the use of electronic gadgets in schools. That's according to Dr. Educhum. No reopening date set for schools. Also, according to Dr. Educhum, who was on Beyond the Lockdown last night. National service personnel directed to resume work Monday. Ekufuado has no power to grant tax waiver, according to the minority leader. Popular support for media freedom in Ghana bounces back to majority view. That's according to an Afrobarometer survey. Also on citynewsroom.com, Ekropong, 4 royals to face court for enstalling chief despite ban on gatherings. Haruna Idrisu challenges legality of state institutions' donation to COVID-19 fund. COVID-19 billboard featuring Ekufuado without face mask to be pulled down, according to the information minister. Interesting story there. We're hoping we can get some extra information on that later on the show. But CNN Africa has a number of interesting interesting stories, including WHO investigating reported increase in deaths in Kano, Nigeria, according to the governor. All right, now, guys, earlier, I brought up this interesting issue of the spot fine. The Northern Regional Minister has been pushing for spot fines as a solution to those who abandon vehicles, which result in several accidents on our roads. Let's hear him one more time, and I want to know what you guys think.
If the road safety units, they can come out with on-the-spot fines to vehicles owners whose vehicle gets breakdown on the roads, and they don't move them immediately out of the major roads, because those things cause deadly accidents. Like somebody have a truck, either a long truck, a tractor, they just park it just for the fact that there is a technical fault, and they leave the vehicle on the road. If they don't have money to fix the vehicle, they must look for tow vehicles to tow it on as well. The vehicle shouldn't stand for more than 24 hours on a road, because it is very common in our part of the country. Sometimes they are in some hidden corners, caves, and it's very terrible.
Very terrible. I have to agree. Now, look, I want to know what you think about it. Okay, so tweet at us. We're at Joy997FM. Remember the hashtag JoySMS so that we will see your tweets and share them with the world. Okay, so use the hashtag and tell us actually, will spot fines help to reduce the fatalities that we record on our roads? We'd love to know what you think about that. Okay, everybody wants to know what you're thinking, so send your tweets through. We'll share them. Also, you can send us WhatsApp 0244-340-437. Okay, 0244-340-437. We want to know what you're thinking. But what do you two think?
Well, I think it's a good, suggestion. The fact that, if you have your vehicle damaged and you leave it on the road, you should be towing it. And so if you leave it and it's going to, endanger lives, you should be fine. But, even beyond people leaving their vehicles on the road, people who cause road traffic offenses should also be paying spot fines. But the challenge is, how do we know that, the policeman who's going to be, administering these spot fines, actually reports them to the state? And that would take me to, a story that appeared on Graphic Online, 3rd July 2019. So it says, Ghana Police to take delivery of 250 body cameras. And it says, the police service are taking delivery of 250 body cameras to be used by its personnel. And it's the first batch of 3,000. And it was good because now, if the police go out, and according to the IGP at the time, if you go out and you come back without a report based on your camera, you'd have questions to answer. The question I'm asking this morning is, are those cameras being used? Do we have the remaining 3,000 in? So that if we go out, for instance, we say, okay, so we're expecting the police to be out there. They should be administering spot fines. And if they're administering spot fines, they don't put it in their pocket, or they don't say that, you're supposed to be paying 1,000 penalty units or 50 penalty units, but you bring 100 Ghana cedis, and that'll be the end of it all. That's very important. Otherwise, we wouldn't be doing anything.
Do we have to collect spot fines in cash, though? Why are we pretending we're not in the year 2020? There are several ways of making payments, which anybody can access. And if a person can only pay by cash, can we not arrange so that instead of them handing the money to the police officer, the officer gives them a ticket and then you go to GRA or whatever?
I was thinking the same thing, the whole ticket idea. But the thing is, how do we trace people? Because, and it's tied in obviously with our addressing system, if our licenses are, are tagged to this. Because honestly, if you catch me and I don't have my license on me and I'm driving and you give me a ticket, it means you're trusting me to go to GRA or go to a bank or somewhere and pay. But how will you find me if I don't pay? So and do we have the systems in place to be able to track that this ticket number has up to this date and has, as opposed to the UK where our licenses are connected to our home addresses, and so you'll get a ticket through the mail or the bailiff will come and knock at your door. We don't really have a traceable system.
So today, if a police officer stops you for, say, a traffic offense, what do they do? How do they ensure that you turn up in court or whatever?
Well, most of the time they'll take you at that moment. They book you at that moment.
So let's do that, because if indeed you abandon your vehicle, that's an offense.
It is.
So they should deal with it as such. If it means impounding your vehicle or whatever, so you pay the fine before you get your vehicle. That should be
The
it.
question, though, Kojo, is when you've abandoned your vehicle and gone, do we have the systems in place so that they can actually trace who the vehicle belongs to so they find you?
Good question. More for us to talk about later. Right now, though, a couple of messages from our partners, after which we'll bring you the BBC News.
*442# is the new mobile banking